Shout out Bird. Hey. These people do not understand. I'm moving as fast as I can. Sending my prayers to God. He doing whatever he can.
Beautiful people. What's good with you, man? Welcome to Smith the Speaker. You know how I rock. It's my show. I do what I do. I know I missed last week. Mannish Monday. It's Mannish Monday. Was good. Real life happened. You know what I'm saying? Real life happened, but I'm back. Relax. Calm down. Man, if you're checking me out live, what's up? I hope you're living well today. I know you're living well today. Make sure you hit the subscribe. Make sure you hit the like. Make sure you share. You know what I'm saying? A lot of the stuff that I put on here may not be for you specifically, but for someone you might think could benefit from hearing this clown over here in California to say what's on his mind. And, you know, I've been doing this for a minute now. Again, I don't do this for a living. You know, my channel's not monetized, you know. I do it for the cause, you know, to put something out there that might spark something in someone, somewhere, to move on something, whether they knew they wanted to move on it or they've been itching to move on it, or whatever the case. So, and again, you know, like I always tell my boys, like, you know, I don't expect everyone to like me. I'm not in it for that, you know, because if everybody liked me, then I'd be doing something wrong. You know what I'm saying? I do it because I personally feel I got a position to play, and I try to play it the very best that I can. While you checking out, if you're watching it live, cool. Thank you for tapping in. Make sure you share it. If you're watching it a rerun, you skimming through YouTube or you found me accidentally, just give it a minute. You know what I'm saying? Check out some of my other stuff. And that's been on there. You know, I started this whole journey with doing my podcast, Public Comment, which is another long story, but go check out some of that stuff. It's still available. You know what I'm saying? On Spotify. I think I might have some on this channel. If not, I'll put a link there or somewhere where you guys go check that out. So you quality stuff, you know what I'm saying? Always trying to motivate, educate, you know what I'm saying? Like young folks, even older folks, you know, if you got that in you. Again, it's Mannish Monday. It's your boy Smith. This is how we hang out. Give me a solid 30 minutes, maybe 40. It's all good. It'll rearrange, you know what I'm saying? Before we get on to today's topic du jour, I seen that long. That tells you how old I am, man. Like, you know, I remember reading specific newspaper articles or, you know, newspapers, you know, the Tribune, shout out Oakland, Reach for the Peach. That's how old I am. USA Today, Boston Globe, Providence Journal, San Francisco Chronicle, Jet Magazine. What up, Jet? Essence. And then like all of those different, you know, media outlets, somewhere in there talking to the, you know, maybe like the weird person that we's topic du jour, they'd have that in there and it'd just be like, you know, just a bunch of random ass articles talking about whatever, you know what I'm saying? A person in, you know, some foreign, I shouldn't even say that's the wrong word, some from far away place on the globe jumps off a tree, lands on an alligator, starts wrestling an alligator. You know what I'm saying? It was like just crazy, different, either stories, anecdotes, tall tales, if you will, possibly. I'm sure a lot of them were, that just kind of like broke the monotony of the daily news cycle of, you know, what's crazy is like, as I sit here and consume political info, educational info, health info, insurance info, living info, car, everything, you know, I'm just taking it. Same old stuff was happening 30 years ago, 40 years ago, 50 years ago, before I got here, 60 years ago, 70 years ago. Now, granted, 50, 60, 70 years ago, I was in a whole different arena, if you would. But it's kind of the same thing as far as concerns of the people. This Mannish Monday, man. Shout out to my boy Mac Main, who joined me 2 weeks ago, talking about real hustling of what men do, all encompassing. You know what I'm saying? Go check my player partner out, if you will. It be coming on at 3 o'clock live California time is hard to book guests. People work, man. People aren't running businesses. People doing things. They ain't got time to sit down with your boy. But if you know somebody who you could think could serve a purpose or play a position on here, man, shout them out to me, man. I'll get them on. It ain't even got to be a man. Man, it's Monday, man. Hey, I seen this quote. It's kind of like a philosophy quote, and I apologize for not knowing where it came from. But the quote was, all young men deserve, that was the, all young men deserve the wisdom of a woman. When I read it, I was like, wow. Immediately thought of my sister. Shout out, sis. Appreciate you. Sidetrack. I sent my sister text yesterday. Hey, sis, I love you. Every little hard-headed nigga needs a big sis like you. You know what I'm saying? And it's crazy. Like, every young man could benefit, deserves the benefit of the wisdom of a woman, whether that's your mom, your sisters, your aunties, your granny, your wife, even your daughter. Like, my daughter gives me plenty of wisdom. She gives me more game than I've ever given her. You know what I'm saying? Shout out, baby. You know I love you, mama. Yeah, check that out. So if you got any females that want to come on and share your wisdom, Mannish Monday, man, that's what we do. You know what I'm saying? It's empowering. And there's no limitation, gender, to instituting power and encouraging power. And focusing on the cause of what's right. A lot of things transpired across sports, politics, financial, the financial world with tariffs going on. I say this about terrorists: build your own shit, make your own shit. You know what I'm saying? Grow a little garden in the back. You ain't gotta have this big ass farm. You need a tractor to harvest. You get a little 2-foot by 2-foot area where you could get. I was gonna say you get some compost or some fertilizer. I don't know where y'all live, but I know in our city, in our county, here in California, you can go to the landfill and get 3 cubic yards free of compost. I'm telling you, best compost ever. I've used it. You get 3 cubic. You know how much 3 cubic yards is? And I'm telling you, you want some green grass, and throw that thing in a little pot of a 2-foot-2 little square ground you made. I promise you're going to get some fruits and vegetables that's going to be legitimate. You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm not a farmer. I don't confess to be one. But I think right now you probably in the fall, the stuff that you want for the fall, I think you should be planting now. Corn, pumpkin, squash. You know what I'm saying? I did a terrible boo-boo because we actually do have a little garden in the back. And my wife and my mother-in-law put some I think it was greens in the ground. And we kind of like not didn't forget about them because I see them every day. But I didn't tend to them. That's the word. I didn't tend to them. And so as I got back there and I was cleaning it up, I was like, man, these things is old. And my wife she's like, no, you don't cut the root. You trim it hard. You don't cut the root. Let it stay there. That's just going to be multipliers for generations to come. I was like, okay, I don't know. So get out there, man. Plant yourself some veggies. So my wife got the greens, thyme, basil, peppers, onions. I don't know, cucumber or zucchini, one of the two. And yeah, man, I mean, if that's going to save you twos and fews here, tariff hack right there, man. You know what I'm saying? Don't go buy no chicken. You know what I'm saying? I mean, unless you're going to get deep into it. Chickens are expensive. You win in on the egg price, but you ain't in the long run. Chickens are work. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know if you're ready for that kind of work. But if you do, get some chickens, man, or whatever. I'm I'm just saying, man, you don't be concerned about tariffs to the fact that you stress out. That's all the whole point of capitalism. And capitalism is about making money. And unfortunately, right now, this administration is looking to get rich on the back of poor people and poor countries. You know what I'm saying? When you talk about, and I heard, this is not me, but I was watching, I think it was one of the financial channels, and they actually had two senators on. One was from Kentucky, he was Republican, and the other was from, I think it was Minnesota. It was up in the Midwest, northern part of the Midwest, and he was a Democrat. And he was just talking about trade and these called trade deficits. And I thought, wow, we don't really get this deep in the weeds when you hear it on the news. Like they just say, oh, we're a trade deficit, and oh, it's crazy. That's why we got to raise tariffs. But I like how they laid it out and went deep into the weeds with it. So, real quick, when you think trade deficit, that is a natural part of capitalism. Is there somebody's going to be the deficiter, if that's the word I'm looking for, right? If I have, $500 and I want to go get this new phone that costs $500, well, I'm all in my right to go trade my 500 for this phone, and now I'm in a deficit of $500. I got a phone, but I'm in a deficit of $500. Now, you multiply that, let's say, just for comparison's sake, to make it make sense to hit home and get up out of here. Let's just say United States trades with China. We don't trade directly with China. We as consumers willingly and voluntarily trade our money for Chinese made products. That's it. And that's the deficit. Right now, when we start talking about I think, I don't know the right word I'm looking for, but when we start talking about there's a word I can't like huge. I'm looking for a substitute for huge. When we start talking about steel and coal and all these other minerals, metals, and material things, right? If we're, let's just say, go to I don't know, India, right? India is another big trading partner of ours, and we get their stuff. It's probably going to be a 1-for-1. And what I mean by that, if we give them $1 million for 1 million pounds of oil or 1 million pounds of steel, then it's a trade, but it's not a deficit. We break even. Yeah, we gave up $1 million, but we got this. You see what I'm saying? So in a sense, it's a deficit, but it's a balanced deficit. Now, to bring it a little bit closer and understanding trade deficit and why you have to understand the devil's in the details. Now, India is a very large country. So, and America is large population wise, but it's much more financially enormous, right? So when we start talking about trade with, let's just say, Vietnam, right? Vietnam really don't have a lot of stuff, you know what I'm saying? And they don't have a lot of purchasing power from us. One, we don't make a lot of stuff. Two, the stuff we do make, they can't afford. The populace can't afford per capita the kind of money power that the United States generates. So again, you're going to have a deficit. That's just, again, part of capitalism. There's going to be a deficit. So when they was breaking it down, I was like, wow, that really makes sense. And I wish when people extrapolate some of the sound bites from news outlets, and yes, Fox, you are a news outlet. When they get to these media outlets, yes, Fox, you're a media outlet. When they get to here and they just give you these 30 seconds and then some CNN, NBC, and whatever, whoever, we just got to really dig a little bit deeper behind the face value stuff that they're telling us, trade deficit. So there's always going to be a deficit. That's just how capitalism works. Mannish Monday. If you looked at me, you follow some of my stuff, check out my channel. I urge you to go because it's back to school season. It's back to school season, right? Shout out to the little ones. My grandson, my oldest grandson, is starting kindergarten. I seen his little picture today, and I couldn't be more proud. I almost shed a tear. That's my guy. And he couldn't have been more cheesier with his uniform on and his backpack and standing in line and just looking handsome and ready to learn. I'm putting positive vibes out there. that he has a more successful and welcoming experience into kindergarten and his educational journey than I did. Side note, back to school, man. Get there. This kind of tells you why I do what I do in a nutshell. I tell a story to all the young people when I go into schools or wherever I go to talk to them. I got expelled from daycare on the first day. Daycare. I got expelled from daycare on the first day. Didn't even make it to lunch. They told my mom, come get this boy. That kind of tells you what course I was going to be on when it came to being successful in an education institution here in this particular system, right? So back to school. Go check out some of my stuff. I got some good stuff up there, just about how to participate as a parent, what to expect, lines of communication, because that's extremely important. We're talking about being in school, especially new parents. I attended the back to school night or orientation, if you will, for my grandson's new school. And I was very impressed on how the principal laid it all out there and emphasized, communication, with the teacher, with the principals. Get to know these people. They are around your children 8 hours, sometimes longer, of the day. They know your child. You know what I'm saying? We as parents, me included, want to sit behind a glass window and say, oh, I tell my children the great stuff and they're well behaved. And when I send them out, they know how to act. And my child will never act like that. Yeah, okay. Yeah, all right. You got your kid. Real spill. You got a kid in school. I'm not talking about he's at home. I'm talking about a child that you have at home. If they're in school, right, full time, 8 a.m., 3 p.m. to, however it goes in your particular district. You got that child from 3:34. Then you got him or her. You got the child till maybe about 8 if you're a good parent, 9 if you're a cool parent. After 10, you're not really doing your job if you have a toddler that's up past 10. That's just me. I'm old. I understand we live in a 24/7 world. To me, I shouldn't call you a bad parent. I should say, I don't understand that. Children need rest. Children need long sleep. You know what I'm saying? So they can be fresh in the morning. So again, you have the child for, 3:34. If they go to daycare after, or someone picks them up, maybe you don't get them till 6:30. Get them to 9, 10. You get them for 3 hours, 4 hours. Then they go to sleep. Then you wake up and you got an hour of mayhem in the morning, maybe 2 hours. That's it. You know what I'm saying? You're around your child in an active, productive time frame for less than 6 hours. And these people have your child for 8 hours or longer. I'm not saying you're a bad parent. I'm saying I think we are delusional, myself included, to think our children behave one way that we expect them to, or at least we want to dream they do. Then when they get to school and they're around their friends and peer pressure kicks in. You know what I'm saying? Assimilation kicks in. You know what I'm saying? Wanting to be the cool kid or the funny guy, you know what I'm saying, kicks in. You know what I'm saying? And then also note this, when we talk about back to school and new parents, young parents, I thought it was fabulous the way, and again, I forget where I heard it. Misbehavior is a reaction to unaddressed needs. Children just don't misbehave. They don't know any better unless we introduce it to them. And if there's something they're lacking, without the understanding of how to articulate what that is, oftentimes you see misbehavior. In our eyes, it's considered misbehavior. When I say I'm talking about adults. Let's not put too many expectations on our young folks and understand there's a lot they need to learn. Right? They don't come into this world knowing everything that a 20-year-old knows, or a 40-year-old knows, or a 60-year-old knows. So sometimes that misbehavior is just a lack of unaddressed needs. Let that sink in. Back to school. Go check out my stuff. Like I said, I got a couple of videos that talk about that. Talk about SARB. SARB is basically trying to address chronic absenteeism, right? Again, I was very impressed with how the principal at my grandson's new school addressed absenteeism, chronic absenteeism, how that works. You know, how like you're late for 5 minutes. After 5 minutes, you're tardy, right? Big difference. You get 3 tardies, now that equals one whole absent. Now, again, let me be fair on this because I want to make sure that, you know, oh, Smith, you talk black and you time is a construct. I understand that. We need to be on our own time. And the current antiquated education institution as it stands still promotes certain Eurocentric ideations. Fact. And I agree with you. You know what I'm saying? And if you got 4 kids and 3 of them go to different schools, I hear it a lot. How am I supposed to get every child there at their on time? I understand. I'm just talking about how it works right now. I'll get to some of that and have a quick second. But, you know, 3 tardies is, you know, 1 absence. Then you have these absences. And then now the school wants to get involved on you because now their funds are affected. So, you know, a lot of schools are funded, or some of their funds come up based on their ADA, their average daily attendance, right? So a lot of schools, you know, let me say that I know some schools who just want 85% ADA, which is pretty horrible, but they consider it good, depending upon the demographics again of the environment, right? I think schools should push for 98% because there's always going to be, you know, these one-offs, these very difficult situations for children to get to school. Again, 4 kids, 3 different schools, right? Maybe you got an inter-district transfer and now you're coming from a different city, or you're in a charter school and you're coming from a different city. Yeah, again, I know, yeah, the parents signed them up for that. Yeah, I understand that, but still, you know, so I think you're going to have, and then you talk about generational trauma, or it's not even, I guess it could be trauma, but you talk about generational experiences. And if the parent of the child that's experiencing these absenteeism, that parent had chronic absenteeism as they were in school, like I did, then, you know, missing school ain't that serious. And again, I'm just trying to be authentic here. Like, I was like, okay, well, I'm pretty smart. I know how to add. I know how to, you know, read. History is boring as hell. Science I don't care about. So what if I miss 1 or 2 days a week, or, you know, 3 or 5 classes a week? It's pretty important. If again, so absenteeism is a thing. But when it comes to absences, right? Chronic absenteeism, to me, that's when other opportunities are introduced to young people, right? I think we have to be mindful of that as parents, especially in the Black community. One, because we went so long without education being afforded us, being withheld from us, not basically, but factually, purposely, to remove us from our long, excellent lineage, right? And like my mom used to say, you want to put, you know, you want to keep secrets from Black folks, put it in a book, right? They sabotaged us, they brainwashed us, propagandized Eurocentric philosophies to rid us of our ability to connect with our ancestors in their lavish, wonderful excellence, dominance of the land, right? So understand the part about absenteeism, okay? It sometimes lends itself to other opportunities for young people that could not be as beneficial as just showing up to school and staying there for your dedicated time. You know what I'm saying? So check out my SARB video. I think it's helpful. And I would say this to parents out there, you know, do your best to get involved. You know, go see what the PTA is talking about. I tell you what, you know, we complain again. I say, you know, the Black community complains when something happens at the school and nothing gets done, because one, we rarely show up to school board meetings. When we do attend the school, for the most part, this is not every black parent. I'm not saying you. So if you're taking offense, then I'm not talking to you. But a lot of us don't even, go to the school to check in. What's up, teach? How you doing? I'm so and so. Whoopty whoop. I used to tell my kids, teachers all the time, don't wait until something happens to tell me that my child did something. Call me that day. You know what I'm saying? Get on the phone with me. You know what I'm saying? Don't wait. I tell you one incident, and it was absolutely hysterical to me. One of my youngest son's teachers in elementary school, I want to say it was fourth grade, could have been third. I'm not sure. Anyway, I don't know what difference she had with my son. It was funny because I used to be on his ass, but I'm like, why does this lady keep calling me? You know what I'm saying? Oh, Pop, she tripping. She doing this, and she's upset because whatever. I said, okay, I called. Hey, look, we setting up a meeting. Cool. Go there, meet after school. Me, her, and my son. This lady's problem, her behavior, her mindset was of a teenage babysitter. I remember her telling me, oh, well, I do that because he talks this way. Or like, what? Are you serious, lady? I said, do you know how to talk to my son? Like, dude is intelligent. If you give him the opportunity in the space, he's going. But if you playing him, he's gonna play you back. And I said, how about you use your educational credential skills, because you got to get credentialed to be a teacher. And in credential, they teach you how to construct and operate efficiently a classroom. Use your skills to communicate with my son instead of acting like a petty ass teenager. And what she's like, oh, okay, Mr. Russell. What? See, folks, if you don't go talk to these teachers, you think they the know-all of know-alls. So let me say this, Anna. A lot of Title I schools, if you don't know what a Title I school is, Google it. Title I schools get a lot of money from federal government and state government. Title I schools are generally in neighborhoods where it's high rent, low own, right? These other schools who aren't Title I are generally in a highly owned home area and low density rent. Okay, so see the math, see what you're getting, understand that. So Title I schools get a lot of funding from the state. Again, that's why they push ADA. One of the reasons. And then also what happens is it's a breeding environment for new teachers. So a lot of times, and you can go across this country and see all the new teachers being hoarded to these Title I schools to deal with these children who have vastly different introductions and approaches to life than these new teachers who defended their dissertation on the struggle of Black men in urban America. Oh, and their boyfriend's Black. So, and that's what happens, right? And so they stay there. It's like, constant, turnover teacher ratio in Title I schools. They get there and they're like, oh, hey, this is what my dissertation looks like. Right? They can't pronounce names. You know what I'm saying? They can't even control the classroom. So understand that's why it's important that we're involved in school. Go check out the PTA. Like I was saying, we get upset when things happen on school and nothing gets addressed or handled. Let the van of the volleyball team catch a flat, and the daughter of the PTA person is on the volleyball. I guarantee you, if they don't get a new van, they definitely get new tires with rims. Just saying, PTA is some powerful. PTA is like the players union. I'm just saying, because let me just be frank. Them white ladies on the PTA do not play. They about business. They about business. You want to know what's going on in that school? Go talk to the PTA. I'm just saying, get on the team. They've been at it for a minute. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, back to school, folks. Your child goes back to school, you should be going back to school too. Whether that's being present in their school with them, or you taking a refresher course in math, English, science, or whatever the case, so you can understand what they're going through. because a lot of this stuff ain't what I grew up on. This math, this integration, STEM. My grandson's in a STEM class. He got an actual STEM class. Dude is 5 years old. Well, he'll be 5 next week, but he's 5 years old in his STEM class. There's no way I could help him. There's no way I could help him. So I need to get my ass over to the community college and look up STEM and see what classes are under STEM. So he come on, people. Yeah, grandson. We get on STEM homework. All right, what's that? You know what I'm saying? So let's make it a team effort, man. Make it fun. I don't know. That's just my 2 cents. And again, I'm a hypocrite because I didn't do it. I didn't know. Let me just say that. I didn't know. My moms didn't know. My pops didn't know. I tell this all the time. The things I'm trying to do now are trying to counteract what I wasn't given because my parents came straight out of segregation into the free market world of living freely and without no guidelines or no rules of engagement in society other than you're free, nigga, go play and have fun. Get a job, buy a house. That was it. They didn't tell us about how education works, how you be a part of education, find nothing. I just need that to sink in when we start talking about back to school and healthcare, politics and financial stuff and home buying. Yeah, we knew we needed to buy a home, but why and how many? And only a few really bought homes that really understood the game. You know what I'm saying? So it was just a lot of unpacking to do. And we look at some of the things, and that's why I do what I do, because I don't want to waste another 50 years of somebody doing the same old thing we should have done a long time ago. There's rules of engagement, how we interact, how we participate as parents in schools. The LCAP, local control accountability plan, is very important. That's where money goes. That's where the curriculum is. I don't want to say it's built, but you have feedback. I didn't know that. No one told me that. You know what I'm saying? They don't like they sent home and thing and hey man, look, it's an LCAP. What is LCAP? They don't even give you that opportunity to ask the question. Now, granted, by law, it's on their website and maybe even on some of the stuff they send home. How much time, how does that make it home? And 2, do we even read that? Because it's probably in the fine print at the bottom or maybe on the back. Because I know the LCAP's on the link on the website. It's hard to find. It's there, but you got to really look for it and know what you're looking for. Back to school, people, is important. It's important. It's a back to school season. Young people, do right in school, man. It's all good. I promise you. It's worth your time. It's worth your time. You know what I'm saying? So my grandson started. I'm super proud of him. That's a whole different, that's my guy right there. With 2 grandsons, he's the oldest. His enormous heart and his full tank of energy is are a complex little human. Let me say that. A big heart with a full tank of energy. He's a complex human being, and I'm so proud of him because I see myself in him. Like, when you're smart, you need leeway, you need room, to explore, experiment. Because if you like me, and I thought I was pretty smart for my age as I was moving up, it was really not a lot of wiggle room to explore. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah. Grandson, shout out. I love you, man. People, I love you forever. Let's get on something, man. I've been babbling on for a minute. I know I'm only 30 minutes or so. We had 33. I could do everything. Okay. So I really want to talk like real quick on Shedeur Sanders. I know he's a hot topic for a lot of people. I'm really moving away from football, like I said before, but I keep my ear to it just to see what's going on. And I just listen and like, we live in a society right now where media influence is just like, is insane through the roof. It's over the top. It's trauma. That's where we're at right now. Like social media is trauma. You get so much of it. You know what I'm saying? And you get addicted. That's gonna be the new next. Well, if it isn't, social media addiction is a real thing. And all these people got stuff to say. And everybody thinks they're right. Now, here's the thing about Mr. Sanders. It is funny to me. It's not funny. it is not shocking to me. It is not an eye opener. It is hypocritical, however, how the narrative of when LeBron James does something for his child to be benefit that he has full authority to do. That is his child. Same with Ken Griffey Jr. or Ken Griffey Sr. Witt Jr. Same with Sanders family, right? Same with the Ball family. It is the narrative, the hypocrisy to listen how that storyline evolves about how the parent is utilizing their platform to benefit their child. In contrast to how the Mannings, I know there's a Warner out there, right? The Wits, right? The Bells in baseball. What's the coaches in the NFL? Why can't I remember their name now? Ryans, right? Grudens, the Belichicks. It and how they are characterized when they're doing the exact same thing for their children. Nepotism is colorless. Nepotism is why the Rockefeller stayed in business so long. Nepotism is why the current president is in position. Nepotism is why a large amount of our senators, United States senators, are in the position that they're in. Nepotism has been a very useful tool to promote and control family businesses. Family businesses like McDonald's, Coca-Cola, and you name whatever else, a huge corporation out there, right? Goodyear Tire. I'm just throwing stuff out there. I'm just saying, you know what I'm saying? We don't see it on a daily platform of visual representation. And now a lot of things are coming to more light because of social media, the addiction to social media. But imagine the nepotism that went on in the corporate world, in the political world, since the construction of this country. They ain't looking at how bad. We ain't characterizing them in a specific way, And back to Sanders. If your problem with Sanders is he's young and braggadocious, that's not his problem. That's your problem. But it's always, can he play in the NFL? Can he play in college? I remember watching him. I don't know the man. I remember watching him one day, just happened to catch it. High school football. He was on, coach on his dad is on the sideline, coaching the high school team. I'm like, well, okay, little bro, he got arm, he throw. All the commentators, oh, hey, his coaches, his dad, at some point he got to let him go. I don't know how this is going to translate into college, right? He gets to college, HBCU, shout out Jackson State. HBCUs have a lot of former Black NFL players as head coaches now. Shout out. That's what we need. Stop going to these PWIs. We don't need that. That's just propaganda right there. Just promoting propaganda to get us away from our lineage. But anyway, he goes there. Same thing, handling his business, right? Oh, well, that's just they're down there in a little HBCU country. Who is he facing, right? Plus, his dad is still the coach. He's got to get away from his dad. What do? Go to Colorado. Nah, he'll never make that Colorado. That's just too big. That's it. Handles his business at Colorado. Yeah, he got trucked a couple times because the O-line sucked ass, but it is what it is. It wasn't like he sucked and he wasn't handling business. Like, bro was like legit handling business. You know, well, he ain't going to make it in the NFL because his dad won't be the coach. You know what I'm saying? Now, granted, we don't know if he's going to make it in the NFL. Don't know. I'm rooting for him. I'm rooting for him because, well, he black. You know what I'm saying? And I love when young black men are braggadocious in the face of white society. Shout out Muhammad Ali. You know what I'm saying? Love that. Mike Tyson, what's up, dog? Man, I'm just saying, right? They want you to be humble. Take the high road when they taking the low road. They want you to tuck tail and fit in. You know what I'm saying? They don't want you to believe in yourself. They don't want you to say what's out there as facts. They want you to conform. And then whenever you're braggadocious, you believe in yourself and it backs up, you know, that's when things start to become a problem. So I want him to do it. I think he's going to do it. That's just my personal thought. And I've had this conversation with many people, including my son and some other folks. Like, if this young man, his father, not his uncle, not his brother, not his cousin, nor his grandfather, Manning's, not his grandfather. We're talking about his father, the man who birthed him. Well, didn't birth him, but you know what I mean. Was a legit high level alpha male Hall of Famer, one of the few individual humans to play both baseball and football at a pro level. May I add, once in the same day. Win Super Bowls, go to the Hall of Fame. That's his father. Playing DB. His son is a quarterback. You don't think he's telling his quarterback son what he was looking at as a cornerback? Like, if you do this, I'm reading that. If you do that, I'm reading this. You got two receivers here, one whatever. I'm looking at that as a DB. Beat that. Okay, yeah, I got you, Pops. I got you, Pops. No. You ain't got it yet. Let me introduce you to this guy over here. Hey, Mr. Tom Brady, this is my son. He a quarterback. Can you give him some game? Oh, say less, bro. I got you. Now we got two Hall of Famers, opposite positions. One is he playing, the other one he's trying to beat. And you don't think he know how to play? At what level? I'm not saying he's going to be a Hall of Famer. I'm not saying he's going to play a down. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying, damn, ain't nobody else got that. Ain't no other quarterback come out have that. Yeah, they father may have been a Hall of Famer from one area, from one position. Come on, man. Come on. Let just say, you know, this is the thing. We live in a society right now where the First Amendment is up in the air about what you can say, what you can't say, what words hurt, what words don't hurt. You know what I'm saying? At this point in time, we know who you are. We know who you are. So just say what's on your heart. If you don't like him because he's a young black man with a lot of money and his daddy talks a lot of shit, just say that. But to sit here and hide behind skeptical, unknown prophecies of, well, can he really play? Because he's slow? Tom Brady, oh yeah, Tom Brady ran a 4.40 in what, 3 seconds? Come on, man. Manning ran a 4.40 in what, 2 seconds? Come on, man. What? Dan Marino. Come on. Just say it. Just say it. Just say it. Sanders, do your thing, man. I don't care what they say. As I close out, a lot of political stuff is going on. There's a lot of National Guard intervention in cities. You know, I will say this. Listen, this is how from my standpoint of going backwards. I am no political scientist. I don't sit there and read or study every single word or action that every single politician has made. I do my research to fact check some things, but in the grand scheme of things, the GOP, the Republican Party, in the beginning of this experiment that we call a democracy or a republic democracy by representation, the GOP was like small government, hands off. You know what I'm saying? Let the states handle this. You know what I'm saying? Let the states handle this. That's their word. We'll handle the big things like the military. You know what I'm saying? The budget for the entire country, right? Specific programs, whatever that's going to benefit the society. That's what they was. They was like, no, the federal government should not be in that business of telling local authorities, or, municipalities how to run their stuff. That's what the GOP. That's how they was funded, right? Now we're looking at the GOP, and it's like, okay, we want to run everything. we in your city, we in your state. You know what I'm saying? So now we're going to forcefully impose the National Guard into these cities. Granted, these are predominantly inner cities, democratic cities, democratic states. You know what I'm saying? So I say all that to say this. That is, again, propaganda. That's fear-mongering at its best, from a standpoint of white fragility. Because when things start to change, which they are doing, I know it's going to take some time before we see what we want to see as a Black family, but things are changing. There is movement. We have wonderful Black people representing us in both the political world, the financial world, the medical world. All these, we're there. We're there. Now, we're not there in abundance, but we're there, and we got more in the pipeline. So when that starts to happen, again, I always say the revolution always eats itself. They are right now trying to prevent the revolution. Right. And this is crazy. I think when we think revolution, you automatically think violence. You know what I'm saying? A revolution isn't necessarily violent. Now, there may be some violent characters or opportunities, incidents in the revolution, but the revolution itself is merely just a progressive tidal wave. So I believe, it's my opinion, or whatever that's worth, is that these are all efforts to fearmonger, because white fragility is so fragile, so nervous, so punk ashes, that you start to resort to whatever means necessary to protect the cash cow. Cash cow is money. You know what I'm saying? That's what it is, right? And how do you do that? You imprison people. You imprison them for whatever reasons. You know what I'm saying? Because you was past curfew. We imposed a 9 p.m. curfew. It's 9:05. Run his ass up. And then we start to throw on other charges on there. So again, and then there's a lot of things that we don't know collectively when it comes to laws and what can be charged on you. You didn't even know that law existed, not only at a federal level, but even in your own city. So I was saying all that to say this. All of that stuff is what it is. I don't think it's that serious. It's a show of force. It is propaganda. It is look at me. When all else fails, send some eye candy to the people. Get them riled up, right? I would say this. The most important thing you can do, or the action you take, is be present at your city council meeting, your local city council meetings. Speak your voice. See what they're doing. See what they're saying. See what's on the consent calendar. See what's on the business calendar. See what's on the agenda. Talk your piece in public comment. Talk your piece on the agendas or agenda items. You can request a city council member to agendize an item that is affecting your city, that has something to do with your city. You can do that. We have that right. So as I close, I always tell people, be engaged, be involved at the local level. And then that is more weight. That's more beneficial for us as a collective as we start moving up in the local, and then the state, and then the federal arena of politics. Beautiful Black people, I've held you long enough. I went 50 minutes. I was only supposed to do 30. I got sidetracked with the whole back to school, because back to school is big business, man, and we got to be a part of this. You know what I'm saying? Bruhs, if you have a chance, go to the schools, go to your child's school, go to your grandchild's school, go to your nephew's school, go to your niece's school, and just show up and read a book, man. Hang out at recess, get your fingerprints. That's all it costs, $20, $50, depending on what state you live in, and go hang out at the school and be present. Huge difference. I ain't telling you, I've walked some of these halls. Our presence is valuable, and I can't explain to you. Our presence is needed. It is mandatory that we're in there authentic, just like you are. You ain't got to put a suit on. You ain't got to unbraid your hair. You ain't got to, you just show up. You pass your background check, going up in there, read some books to the kids in the class, because I plan to do that. I've been doing it. I'm going to continue to do it just as I am, unapologetic. We need, bruh, show up. If you got any questions on that, man, tap in with me. I'll get you to the right resources to get yourself in there to be a part of this. This is your child. This is your family member. This is the people, the young people in your neighborhood. You may not even be related to them, but they're in your neighborhood. They need to see you in the schoolhouse, in their classroom. Like, hey, bro, I know, bro. You know what I'm saying? We'll talk about that next week, Mannish Monday. Mannish Monday, man, it's your boy Smith, man. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. Go check out some of my videos that's related to school. The one back to school, I think, is a phenomenal one, if I have to say so myself. As before I get up out of here, I want to say this. As I always do, man, have a conversation with someone that don't look like you, don't sound like you. And if you listen and shut up, you just might learn something. Beautiful black people, till next time, man. You know I love you.
Shout out Bird. Hey. These people do not understand. I'm moving as fast as I can. Sending my prayers to God. He doing whatever he can.